Hi, how are you again? I got the bug. I got the bug and I want to make another video. Been waiting for so many years to actually get something up and going. And yesterday I got off my butt and I made one video, put so much thought into it, and I was like so focused on trying to get way a lot of thoughts into a small amount of time. That's all good. That's all good. There's so much support in this community that I'm just going to keep on keeping on. Onward and upward. I was watching yesterday. I was like, yay, I got subscribers. Woo! Woo! And then I had some thumbs up and thumbs up and thumbs up. And there was one thumb down. And I was like, as if you do that. What? Don't do that. That's not good. You can break my heart. Okay, whatever. So, made myself a cup of tea, and we're just gonna keep on. One thing I love a lot is books. This is my quiet room where I love to spend time just reading and being within my own world, my own mind. And one place, something that can take you to many places actually is books. So I really, really want to promote reading. I'm an early childhood educator. As of this year still, I'm a registered early childhood educator. I went back to school a few years ago, and so I work with little kids. I have my own daycare, and I love that. So I do want to put some of that content in this channel as well. And some people may say, gosh, talking about how to educate children. I'm recording. Sorry. How does that go with spiritual content and tarot and all of that? And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm just going to organize it and have a playlist for, daycare and activities and education, and a playlist for whatever spiritual and whatever tarot and whatever, book reviews I want to do. And that's just going to have to make sense because I am not just one person. I am an integrated human being with a lot of different interests. And if I'm making a channel, I will talk about mala beads if I want to. And I will talk about candle magic. And I will talk about whatever it is that is of interest to me. And hopefully, people will chime in and, let me know what you want to know more about. So, to start off, I guess, I have a few books here that I'm really pretty into. So I just finished this one not so long ago. It's called The 4 Sacred Gifts by Dr. Anita Sanchez. Now, whenever I buy a book, I always look at other YouTube videos to see what's been said about it and just, if it's something that I really want to get into and spend the money on. This one, I'm going to make a separate video just about this. So if you want to buy it or if you want to look into it first, I'm probably going to make 4 shorter videos about it because I'll talk about the 4 sacred gifts separately, each separately. This is a really awesome book if you want to look inwardly, and I like to change how I see the world through my own filter, and this definitely helps for me to do that. So if it's all about making the world a better place, I'm all for it. 4 sacred gifts. So hopefully you'll be able to enjoy that along with me. If you don't buy the book and follow it, the review that I do with it, if you don't follow it with me, then maybe you'll buy it after you see the reviews. So yeah, I'm all for promoting books. I think you should read everything you can get your hands on. This one, I love this one. It's been, gosh, I think I read it like a year ago. And I have always wanted to put this on my channel. So I'm going to read this again. This one this one, I think we can go through chapter by chapter. This one's actually particularly special. Now, I don't know if what you know about this. When I'm looking at spirituality and psychology, whatever goes on in your mind, that sort of etheric, sort of thought-filled realm of things, whatever is cognitive. For me, I don't really divide a lot of all of those components. Like, oh, this is spiritual, so I'm going to talk about that. This is, psychology, so I'm going to talk about that. A lot of it is interconnected. So one thing that interests me a lot is to learn about mediumship. Mediumship, just briefly, is basically being able to quiet your mind and tune into, speak with people who have passed on, or people who, it's like a psychic sense that you can tune into something that's happening somewhere else and get information from that. Now, mediumship usually is in the context of speaking to people who have passed on, the dead. Okay, having said that, there's something that's very similar that I've been learning about for a little over a year now, and that is called remote viewing. There's the person who is the father, the kind of the pioneer, the maker of remote viewing. His name is Ingo Swann. And I'm just going to give a brief, I know key components, so somebody else may be able to fill in the blanks a little bit more. But essentially, the U.S. military Ingo Swann worked with the U.S. military. I think the first time, it's around the year 1969, I think, when remote viewing was starting up in early 70s in there. And what it is being able to quiet your mind, and there's a procedure that Ingo Swann actually quantified. So he was a psychic, and he was so good that the military got their hands on him because they could use his abilities to their advantage. And so he was able to make a step-by-step technique, which he then called controlled remote viewing. This step-by-step technique, you follow these procedures. You basically have a table and a paper and a pen, and you follow this way of doing things. That's what I want to go through step by step. So when you go through these things, you scribble out all these things on paper, and eventually in the end you don't identify what it is you're talking about, but you're describing the thing that you're talking about. And so by doing this technique, they were able to locate accurately different things that were going on in a different part of the world, like find documents, know what's on a document, or underground, like submarine that was being built, pulleys and stuff that were on other sides of the world and different places. And they were actually able to accurately describe those things by sitting in a room that's not even anywhere close to. So you know about it, either you're describing it years before it's actually become public knowledge, or you're describing like cylinders or something that were there decades past. So time, that what you're describing may not necessarily be at the same time as you are now. Anyway, so the details about all of that will become a lot more clear as we go through this book, because Lynn Buchanan was one of the people that worked with Ingo Swann, and he wrote this book. Of course, all the information at that time was all covert. It was all unknown to, was not public knowledge. Now all the guys that were learning from Ingo Swann and doing this remote viewing, this controlled remote viewing, are now retired, and they're all writing books. And I bought a lot of them because it just makes me giddy. Because these guys have certain qualities about them, like they have to have like an artistic sort of, they're chosen by the military to have, because they have certain qualities. So they have like a psychic sense, but the military is not going to talk about, you know, psychic as a word. They use other descriptions. So they're artistic, and they have a creative mind, and they have, I think they have some language abilities. Anyways, that'll be described as well in these books. We'll start with this one, because the details, after you just read a book really quickly the first time, sometimes the details, I have to read it over again before I remember it. Hi, Pooch. Yeah, I love you, my doggy. This is my dog. This is Celine. I love her so much. She's my Pooch. I even love the smell of her breath. Yeah. So, okay. It's called The Seventh Sense, The Secrets of Remote Viewing as Told by a, quote, psychic spy for the U.S. military by Lynn Buchanan. And Lynn is short for Leonard, but he goes by L-Y-N, Lynn. Okay? So yeah, we're going to have fun with this one. I'm just going to eat this up. Love that. So, to also further that line of thought. So these books I think I'm going to go through on video with you over the course of about a month. So this is going to be the first half of summer reading probably. Now you think, okay, psychic, what does that have to do with military? So I've described that because those two on the surface seem like incongruent, but they're not. It's all about linguistics. It's all about the words you use to describe the techniques. And if you can quantify it and you can get results, then that's what they want, right? That's would be a military sort of thing. So, yes, there's some similarities between this controlled remote viewing and not just remote viewing. There's a difference between, because controlled CRV is it's like a registered term, like a copyright, like it's like a term that's only being used for what they do. Okay, so now then everybody else is kind of getting on the bandwagon, calling it remote viewing because they have techniques that are a little bit different and still work, right? So yeah, I have like a book by Melanie Barnum. Anyways, there's like a group of people: Russell Targ, Lynn Buchanan, Major Ed Dames. I'm looking behind to look at the books that I have on the shelf. But anyways, we're going to get into those. We will. I am eating that stuff up. The whole ESP thing and the whole healing through intention that Russell Targ talks about. Anyways, right now, after I go through the seventh sense, I'm also going to be talking about this book, which is Psychic Intuition. So you have the group of people that I just mentioned, and then you have the people that they taught. And in there you get like Melanie Barnum, and you get here like Nancy Du Tertre. And she has been interviewed also. You can find some YouTube videos that are interviewing her. She's super cool, this lady. I'm really enjoying the way her mind works. So the book is called Psychic Intuition. Can you see that? Okay. Everything You Have Ever Wanted to Ask But Were Afraid to Know by Nancy Du Tertre. That's a T-E-R-T-R-E, Du Tertre. So yeah, this book I'm actually like nearly done and eating it up. She's talking a lot about senses and how to make sense of, like following the logic of making sense of your senses. So we tend to think that we have 5 senses and then that's it. But she's saying, no, there's so much more evidence that's going on about different senses and different perceptions that you have, and how you look at color, and how you perceive sound, and how language actually affects the way that you view the world. So your language of origin, how does that shape how you perceive everything? Super, super interesting stuff. So I just gotta do video on this one as well, because it's people watch a lot of TV and movies and stuff, but you can get so much out of books. Like, just grab something, and it doesn't matter what you take. Learn. There's so much. Okay, so those are the first 3 books that I want to go through in the next several weeks, and I'm not going to pin myself down to any particular time frame. I know what I have in mind. I kind of want to go through these through the first half of this summer, which means making some sort of time schedule, and I'll be more specific about each, the time schedule as I enter each book, because we'll know more about what we want, and I'll be getting some feedback from you. Please do give some comments down below about this stuff. So this one, just one more time, the 4 Sacred Gifts. This is about healing and connecting with people. Oh, the more specifically, it's Indigenous Wisdom for Modern Times. Dr. Anita Sanchez, Indigenous. I'll talk more about that too. And then we're going to do The Seventh Sense by Lynn Buchanan. So I'm hoping that you can somebody's going to buy these things, and then we can go through it together. If so, if there's enough interest in it, then maybe we can do like a live Q&A or something like that. If not, my intention is just to go through it chunk by chunk with videos and see what kind of feedback I get, because that's what it's going to be about. It's going to be about the feedback I get from people. And of course, Psychic Intuition by Nancy Du Tertre. Those are my first 3 delicious, yummy yummies. And then, as time goes by, maybe we can get into some other stuff, because learning is just so cool. That is my adult stuff. I also am going to look into making a separate sort of playlist for teenagers, so that teenagers have resources as well, and I have some books available on that. So we're onward and upward. I am so excited about just awakening my my desire to make a channel. So thumbs up, and the people with the thumbs down, you're going to have to step up here at the front of the class, and I'm going to have to, tell you where to put that thumb, because it goes in this direction. And subscribe, and stay tuned. All right. Have another cup of tea, and buy some books.